Good morning, everybody. Richard C. Wilson here, founder of Family Office Club. Welcome to our monthly webinar. So we switch up the topics on these each month, try to keep it dynamic and interactive. Today, we're going to be calling on some charter members within the Family Office Club. I'm doing some case study hot seats. I've got some slides to share, some strategies to share. We had some great speed networking events just recently, and coming up later this month, in just about 3 weeks, we're having 400 participants come to our single family office summit in New York City. And it's going to be exciting. We have 75 speakers booked on stage over just 2 days. So that's about twice as many speakers you'd normally hear from at an event that lasts for 2 days. And I'm personally interviewing 4 centimillionaires who have had $100 million exits, run $100 million businesses. And that's on top of billion-dollar family offices speaking, private investors, angel investors, heads of other investor clubs who have invited wealth advisors and business owners. So appreciate you being part of our network and being here on the webinar. We have about 16.5 million registered members in our online social media communities. 90% plus of that is on LinkedIn. And in a single month, sometimes we'll have 30,000 posts in those communities and about 100 million views on those. So a lot of what we learn is from doing deals with investors, but also just through our network and through folks like you participating in the event. So welcome to the webinar. I have a couple of slides I'm going to share just to provide some early context, and then we're going to jump right into a hot seat or two. Stephen, I see you're online. If JP, if you're online, you might be a couple of the first 2 to go for a hot seat session. So just a heads up on that. You might see a team member of mine relabeling your name to identify what type of member you are with us, just to make it easier to do the hot seats today. All right, so here are a couple of slides real quick here. We do 30 events a year. I think that's important to note, update up front. And we've closed over $1 billion of transactions within the community. Some of those deals are folks setting up their family offices. Some are debt financing, some are equity financing, some are startups, some are companies with 100 million in revenue. I started this in 2007. So it's been quite a long time since we got started. We've learned a ton over that time. And so what I try to do is just share everything that I've learned along the way. One thing I've learned is that at some point, owning more things is not the goal. The most successful people I know focus on being successful, not just in business, but also with their family, also with their health, also with actually enjoying life, and also being successful in business. That is the type of holistic success that we talk about within our community and that we aim for. These are my family's values. We have these above our kitchen table at home, and I'd recommend everyone have these. It's pretty common sense that a company needs values, but every family should as well. And I can count on less than one hand out of helping set up a couple hundred family offices and meeting thousands of family offices, how many have formalized values up on their wall at home, or even formalized values hidden in a Word document saved on their computer. Would be better than nothing, right? So make sure and do that. Some background on myself. I was a first investor in a skincare company. We tripled the revenue in 2 years and had an exit. We've bought and sold many pieces of real estate. We own an apartment complex right now. We just took from 37% occupied to 95% occupied. Helped create a couple hundred family offices. We own more domain names in the medical space that are like single word, highly commercial names like dermatologists.com, obstetricians.com than anyone else, because we like investing into medical and dental practices. And I've done 43 of my own investments who have helped structure more than 100 deals, far more than 100 deals. Last year, we exited a dental practice. When we capitalized it and I invested, they were at 8 million in revenue. And we exited that at 26 million in revenue. And we also spent 12 years buying billionaires.com and got that done a couple of years ago. And now I've interviewed Mark Cuban and Tony Robbins and Tim Draper and Grant Cardone, Jeff Hoffman, spoken at our events many times. And before that, I bought privateequity.com and flipped that to a investor in Hong Kong for over a 3x ROI. And everyone said I was crazy paying 6 figures for that when I went into it. So one thing I want to go over here is a little bit of context on why anyone would want to be part of a family office club and like what the whole purpose of our platform is. If you hang out with decamillionaires, centimillionaires, and billionaires, and you learn from them, you see how they operate, you see how they think, you see what mental models they operate on, you're just going to become more like them on accident, even if you don't even take notes and you just spend time with them. And over again, billionaires and centimillionaires say that who you choose to spend time with is the most important decision of your life. What communities you're in, what media you consume, who you decide to marry, who your friends are. It's scientifically proven that impacts you at a subconscious level and just massively influences how enjoyable, painful, or productive your life becomes. So, one of my favorite quotes is that if you don't boost your financial IQ higher than your net worth, then people around you on planet Earth will correct that equation very quickly. Your net worth will come right back down, even if you sell your business, even if you start making good profits every year in your business, et cetera, whatever your platform is, you have to always be boosting your financial IQ. So you want to be around the right folks. To make that easier, we not only have these monthly webinars, we not only have a web portal where you can stream 2,000 investor talks and you can filter them by due diligence or capital raising or only talks by centimillionaires or only talks by pro athletes, et cetera. We've also transcribed all 2,000 talks and tagged them. So it has smart search features across all of our videos, all of our AI tools. But also, you can come to our events. Most people don't come to more than 3 to 5 of our events a year, honestly. Most of our members are super busy, but we do host 30 events a year. So would love to see you at many of these over the course of the year. So this is a picture of me interviewing Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank. He was on the first 3 seasons of Shark Tank. He's done over 1,000 transactions. He's a high velocity entrepreneur. And when you get to hear interviews with people like this, it changes your level of optimism, changes what's possible. It makes you want to be more like that person you're learning from in some positive ways. And then a lot of these folks will hang out and network for a half day or the whole event. And importantly, the billionaires that I showed from billionaires.com and Kevin Harrington, I don't pay them to come speak. Many conferences are boring, not built for ADD founders. And you've got some gold fund or hedge fund manager up there for 45 minutes showing you macroeconomic slides, putting you to sleep. Or they pay for some army general or politician and they pay them 50K or 100K to be a keynote. We don't do any of that. In 19 years, we've never paid someone to be a keynote. Like the people come to get business done and do deals. And we helped Kevin Harrington formalize his family office. He's done 2 or 3 transactions through the club already. And one of them has done really well. So here's 3 things to know about getting maximum value out of this webinar and any event you come to through us. One is that proximity is power. So if you are close to the mental models, the ideas, and connecting with the ultra wealthy business founders in our club, that could be peers, that could be investors, then better things are going to happen for you, right? That's proximity. Super intelligence, that is through our AI tools and scale. So proximity is really growing your network with the most successful people that you want to be more like via the events in the portal. We have built 50 AI tools that are really codifying the best practices of what we've learned over seeing $1 billion of deals get done through listening to 1,500 investors on stage over the last 19 years. And it's basically the insights from that have been coded into the tools that allow you to automate and systematize messages or systematize business processes. So over 250 things you do in business as a business owner, founder, investor, et cetera, can be automated and made more thorough and faster using our AI tools. And lately, we've gone super deep on Claude skills, Claude projects, artifacts, Claude co-work. And after our May summit, we're doing a full day implementation workshop. There are many places where you could stream a video or watch a social media video on like, oh, look at this whiz bang thing that an AI tool can do. But behind the scenes, it might take tons of setup to get to do it. It might have massive security risks, and it might be way harder than make it look like it is, right? At our AI implementation workshop, you come for 6 hours with your laptop out, and we spend time helping you put the tools into place, using the tools so you leave with Claude project set up, Claude skills set up, Claude cowork set up and working, building an artifact, building automated scheduled processes, and using the top 10 of our 50 AI tools. So you get how to use all of the AI tools. So it really is an AI implementation workshop, and it's built on the proprietary data of 3 million words said by investors on stage, the 1,500 investors that have spoken at our events. And it's made practical for founders and investors. It's tools built just for you. And MIT and Harvard found that you can go 33% faster, make 25% less mistakes, and boost your IQ by about 12 points by using AI tools built for your specific area. The final way that we can be helpful to you is helping you scale. People hear family office club, and many times they think, oh, investor club, like it's just for investors. It's just if I want to raise capital, but it's a club of family offices. What are family offices? Basically, super entrepreneurs, super founders, however you want to put it. 90 some percent of the family offices in our network created their own net worth through massive success in business and real estate. And so when you are around them, you learn how to scale in multiple ways. You might access capital on the equity side. You might get sharper debt financing. You might just structure your deals in smarter ways. You might get better at deal origination and being able to see more opportunities. So your top 1% of deals are much, much better. And then everything else goes better. You might identify new strategic choke points you should acquire and learn how to vet partners faster and more thoroughly. There's dozens of ways that you can learn to grow your platform. And so it's not limited only to equity partners. That's really important to know up front. So what we're providing is proximity, super intelligence, and scale. That's really what you get through Family Office Club. The military, there's something called the OODA loop, and basically it's observe, orient, decide, and act. And the world is changing faster now than ever before, and it's not slowing down. And so the faster you can iterate and observe what's going on accurately and then orient in the true north direction, then the better things are going to go for you and your team, right? And so it's important that when you're figuring out which way you want to head next, you are around the right people who are seeing the world accurately, optimistically. You're being around ultra successful business owners and super founders and peers that are supportive and positive and growth mindset oriented. Otherwise, if your brain is too influenced by the media and a bunch of journalists that have done not too much in their life besides criticize people who have done things, different things are going to come out in terms of your perspective or your outlook on life and what reality looks like. And so, very much related to our events and AI tools in the portal and this OODA loop is this quote that clarity multiplies action. The more clear you are in where you're going and why and how you need to get there, the more action you'll take. The more clear that partners are on where you're going and how you add value, the more they'll want to partner with you, whether it's a publicly traded company, a billionaire, a decamillionaire. So get super clear on where you're going, but make sure that the data you're collecting is accurate and rich data. So this is what one of our investor summit rooms looks like. This is one of the exhibit hall networking areas. This is what the web portal looks like. We have the tools in here. We have the videos to stream in here. This is where you RSVP for events. You can get a free guest pass, and you get about 1.5 or 2% of the portal for free as a guest pass. And then it obviously goes like way, way deeper once you become an actual member with us. And why do we host events like this when we could just host webinars like the one you're on right now? Because we could save about $800,000 on scrambled eggs and chicken if we just hosted webinars. Well, the reason is Robert Cialdini has proven you're 16 times as likely to get a deal done if you meet somebody in person. And that's any type of deal, any type of transaction, buying a vacuum, buying a watch, buying a piece of jewelry. So if you think if it's 16 times as likely that you move forward by seeing the watch in person and meeting the auto dealership person in person, what do you think it is for investing $500,000 or $1 million, right? Do you think it's more important if you're going to buy a house to see it in person or to meet your potential spouse or to meet the founder of a company you're about to give $250,000 to? For sure it is, right? And with AI, you can fake just about anything. I could just be an AI avatar created by HeyGen right now and just be making it seem like I'm really on here, but that's saving my time, right? So people want to meet more in person now than they did just a few years ago. And this statistic is from a few years ago before AI kind of exploded. It's another picture from one of our events. Here's a couple of our AI tools. We're not going to spend much time on this today, but we have some amazing AI tools we'll get to later after we get through some hot seats. I just don't want to talk for too long here as an intro piece. All of our AI tools you can access through our membership portal. We also have this Claude section, which will teach you how to install Claude skills. You can download our 10 proprietary Claude skills built off of our 50 AI tools. And we also have different information in there on Claude to be helpful to you, including a full webinar on how to leverage Claude and co-work and 15 examples of how we're doing so. The family office space is $14 trillion in size. Some say the smallest estimates are 3 to 5 trillion. It's many trillion dollars in size, that's for sure, right? And so that's the main point. And we have the most visited website in the industry, familyoffices.com. You've probably been there if you're here already. And for the rest of this webinar and really for the rest of your life, anything you hear on a webinar is not, personal advice. We're not your CPA, we're not your wealth advisor, we're not your lawyer, we're not your compliance officer. So just make sure all those people, give you a blessing on anything that you're putting into place, obviously, that you hear about today. So I have plenty of slides, plenty of things that I could share. There'll be no shortage of things we could cover during this webinar, but would like to keep it interactive and want to make sure that everyone finds it valuable here. So during the webinar, I'm going to be checking in on the chat and the Q&A. If you want to ask a couple of questions now within the chat, something you're really curious about, I can grab a couple of questions real quick on anything that I went over real fast during the intro slides. And then also, I can, I saw Carrie saying that the voice is echoed. If it's still echoed, let me know. Hopefully it's better now. But yeah, if there's any questions from the intro slides, please do let me know, and we'll cover those here. And then we'll see if JP is online. And otherwise, if Stephen would like to do a hot seat, we could potentially go with Stephen instead if JP's not here. Sherry said, reading and loving Cialdini's book per your recommendation. Yeah, Cialdini changed my life. The science of influence and persuasion is really just how to be effective in the world and get things done and how to communicate effectively. And our entire business is based off of authority, building reciprocation. That's what this whole webinar is really, right? Like, here, let me try to add value and provide you with value no matter where you are in the world and what type of business you have. Let me try to add value to you. And hopefully we add enough value that you say, hey, this Richard guy has figured a few things out, and his membership community seems super valuable. Maybe I should give it a try, right? So if you're curious about how to get involved and you're only on here for the webinar for a couple minutes, I'll have Daphne and my team just post a link to the /AI way of getting started with us. It's a $1 trial for a week, and then it's $75 a month for digital membership, and then post a link to the join page, which shows you our 3 main membership options that gets you into our 30 live events a year. Lucian's asking if I personally invest into Africa. I personally don't. I'm based in Hawaii. Our events are mostly US focused for now. We have done events in Toronto, London, and Singapore. We're leaning towards Asia and expanding our events in the near future. And I'm focused on investing into medical practices that are profitable, digital assets that help grow our community, and other investor clubs, essentially. But that's just me personally. We have, 10,000 plus registered investors in the community and about 1,000 that are active at any one point in time. Could I see the pillar slide once again, or can we have a copy of that? Yeah, let me bring it up real quick again. It's one of the most important slides, honestly, in terms of just understanding the community. So basically, these are the 3 pillars of our whole community. You get proximity. You get to be close to decamillionaires, centimillionaires, and billionaires. You get super intelligence in the form of our 50 AI tools, and we will teach you how to use Claude Cowork, Claude Skills, Claude Projects, and also the super intelligence of just like downloading mental models from centimillionaires can be life-changing. And then scale. There's many ways to learn how to scale through strategic choke points and securing distribution, partnerships, co-GP structures, deal structures in general, debt financing, equity financing, et cetera. So that was the slide on the 3 pillars. And got a question here from Michael. If I'm interested in the AI toolkit, the Claude skills, and I want to come to the event in New York City, but I don't want to commit to more than that at one point, what's my best way forward? Well, basically our three membership options at /join allow you to come to any of our three events or any of our 30 events a year. There's no limit on that. There's no cost to attend individual events. But I understand, Michael, you just want to come to the one event in New York and like see if you love it. Well, the good news for you, if you look at the join page, we guarantee you'll love the event. So how it works is that the membership is for 6 months or a year. But if you come to the Investor Summit and you come to one workshop, like for example, the Investor Summit May 28th and the workshop in the middle of June, and you don't love it, like we'll just refund you because we're 100% confident you're going to love it. You're going to get way more value than normal event you go to. You're going to hear from twice as many people on stage. You're going to like the value and the tone of the community. And then we're going to help you implement AI and give you so many ways to use AI. Even if you are a co-work super nerd, you're going to be leaving with new ways to use co-work. And you'll be able to implement them instantly because you already know what I'm talking about when you see the AI workshop in person. And exactly zero of our competitors guarantee you'll love their events or they give you a 100% refund. And that's probably for a reason, right? We're confident that you're going to love it. So definitely encourage you just to jump in and try it out. This is not a $30,000 a year mastermind. Like if you haven't looked at the page, it's $1,500 for 6 months to $10,000 for a year are the three options. And like the value is like ridiculously higher than that. And so I'm 100% confident you're gonna love it, honestly. Stuart's saying, very interested in creating an AI copilot. What kind of training is available for Claude implementation? Yeah, I like Gemini as well. I'm a Google Ultra subscriber, Stuart. Claude, from start to finish, we will teach you how to use Claude projects, skills, co-work, give you some like privacy, security warnings about it and disclosures about it. And then you can always just tiptoe into that, and anything that you need to check with your attorney on or team members on, you can. But we'll teach you at that AI workshop and through one of our webinars that we've already recorded exactly how to use Claude, and you'll be super fluid with it, and it will blow away what you're doing with Gemini right now, like completely blow it away. It won't even be like a contest between the two, and that's not because I'm super smart. It's because Cowork is amazing and does a bunch of stuff for you all the time. Sylvia is saying, if I'm new to syndication, learning how to raise capital as a coach GP, what one-on-one support is there? I'm looking for a deal review, structure prep, etc. Yeah, great question, Sylvia. So the support you get when you join as a member of Family Office Club, Jennifer and our team will do a walkthrough. She'll show you how to use the portal, how to access the AI tools, how to stream the videos that you actually care about, how to stream maybe one or two workshops, how your team members can take advantage of the portal, not just you as well. Maybe you can come to some events, your team member can come to another event. So making sure that you know how to leverage the platform and which events you want to RSVP for will handle on that onboarding phone call. After that, once a quarter, you can submit your materials to Xander on my team, and he'll help leveraging our AI tools and Xander's opinion. And he bounces some of those materials off of me as well. And you get feedback on your materials, on the deal structure, on the positioning, on the marketing. We also host all these events, right? And the workshops that we do 24 of a year, those are only like 50-person, 60-person events. So if you want to ask 10 questions during that time, like please go ahead and do so. And if you want to come up and ask me a question before we start, or if I don't have a flight right after, which does happen half the time, then I stay after for 45 minutes and network and chat a bit. And you can also send me an email as a member, or Jennifer an email, our membership like happiness coordinator, and we'll get back to you over email with any specific questions you have. We actually do reply to emails, contrary to many companies these days. And then on top of all of that, out of the three options I mentioned, one of them is verified membership. And that is us doing a background check on somebody. Then you get a blue check mark next to your name in the portal and at live events on your name tag. And if you have that, then you're working with me personally to write your one-liner and get your 1-minute video produced by my internal marketing team. The same team that does my video work and my marketing work will create your 1-minute video. So it's a long answer, but it's important to know that it's not like, oh yeah, just come to this like huge room of 500 people and like you're gonna love it. It's a big event. It's like it's a community, and it's something where you can get personal feedback and help. James is saying on the website, I'm seeing the networking events are also virtual. Yeah, the networking events can be participated in through live stream or in person. So, well, this webinar obviously is just fully virtual. The other events that I'm talking about, the 2 dozen workshops and masterminds and the AI implementation workshop and the Capital Raiser Bootcamp workshops and all that is in person, but we also live stream it. And then all of our investor summits are live streamed as well as done in person. Related to personal feedback you get, I do have to share this slide. I think it's just so helpful to so many people on here, probably. This is what almost everybody messes up when they raise capital. And it drives me crazy because we have people mess this up who have been in the club for 5+ years. And in one day, in 5 hours, you can put all this in place. Or like, God forbid, you spend 2 days. And then you have all of the top things that investors are asking for all the time. So the number one most important is that you have something super unique. And you have something that not everyone else has. It doesn't sound like everyone else. It's more hitting someone between the eyes with the value they're looking for. It's got a unique structure, a unique offering. It's de-risked in some way. When they see it, they instantly lean forward and want to learn more. That's super important. If you don't have that, make sure you have that. Many people do believe they have that, and it's not quite unique enough. But let's say you have that. Almost everyone is missing everything else on this slide. Like you should have a one-liner that's super dialed in that other people can't say, that uses credible numbers, 2 to 3 credible numbers. And we actually have 25 points of criteria for what makes a good one-liner. We used to teach people what they were. Now we don't have to, because our AI tool, Clara, is like an AI agent that does like 5 to 6 really powerful things for you. Most of the things on this page, actually. And Clara will give you 7 options of a one-liner based on your PPM, your pitch deck, your pitch, like whatever materials you have. She'll help you write your one-liner and say, here's 7 options that fit the 25 criteria I was trained on. And it'll help you get that done. There's no excuse not to have a one-liner. A 1-minute founder video, you can record it with your iPhone. If you want, you could record it with, I just got this new webcam. Today's the first time I'm using it. I don't know if you can read that on there. It's called the Ozbot Tiny 3. If you get this, you will have a super HD video that you can record. And it auto tracks. It's super 4K HD. It's not hard to record 3 to 4 sentences on a camera and have somebody edit it to keep it showing visuals of your manufacturing floor, your dental practice, or how your tech works with the animated whiteboard video, etc. Again, we can do that for you if you're a verified member, but like there's no excuse not to have a 1-minute video, even if it is just you talking to the camera, which is really not ideal because people have the attention span that's less of a goldfish these days. But it's better than not having a video. Everyone should have a 1-page pitch. Typically, everyone just has a 40 to 70-page pitch deck that's way too long and doesn't have a 1-pager. And everyone needs a due diligence questionnaire, which is basically, here are 30 questions that if you were an expert in data centers, or if you were an expert in dry cleaning platforms, or whatever it is, you would want to ask these 30 questions that are super dialed in to the specific opportunity and risks at hand here. But many investors don't know what to ask after 5 to 7 or 10 questions. And over disclosure is always the way to go when raising capital or going through a partnership. And so having those 30 questions typed out with the 30 answers, again, our AI tools can do that for you. And it will think of the 30 questions and write out all your 30 answers based on your materials. And then you just check it. So again, there's no excuse not to have all this stuff in place. You could have all of it in place tomorrow. If you join right now, you could get all this stuff in place tomorrow. And even without us, you could, honestly. We just help it go faster. So I just wanted to share that real quick because it's a little bit frustrating sometimes to see like 90-some% of the community mess everything up on that slide, or most of it, when it's just so easy to put that in place these days. Okay, Corey's saying, see more halo investments, heavy assets, low obsolescence, like infrastructure, etc. So Corey, in terms of trends, that's a great question. There's a flight to quality. People want higher quality things than they used to demand because a lot of investors have the taste of their own blood in their mouth a bit. They can beat up on a couple of deals. Distributions were cut off. They got wiped out completely in a few deals over the last couple of years. Some companies facing trouble over higher interest rates, some over inflation, some just over the fear index being a little bit higher. So all the more reason to make sure you're in the right community and you're using all of the 6 things I just showed on that slide. Because even in a good market, capital raising can be challenging, right? And in a tough market, we have people that have raised $8 billion that spoke at our event just 10 days ago. And they said it's the hardest to raise capital now as it's been in 20 years. So you really need to have your A game on and actually, get your stuff together and be that much more unique and more consistent, et cetera. Lewis is saying, do your members want to know more about tax and estate planning? Yes, for sure. We only have a couple of members that focus on that. So what we're doing right now in real time is creating a new version of the Family Office Blue Pages. If you've been a member before, it's going to be like much better than it was before in the member directory. Um, Basically, investors or peer members can navigate, and you navigate almost like old school Craigslist at the top level. It'll say Family Office Blue Pages. And then you look by category and type of member, like, oh, I want to network with real estate members or service providers or trust and estate or tax experts. And then people can find you through that directory, but you can also network with people through our live events. You could sponsor and get an exhibit table or do a 5-minute deal flow talk. It's like $5,000 and change to do a 5-minute talk. It's not like $30,000 or something. So those would be some ways to get exposure. Gavin is a charter member. If we're buying a 50-unit apartment building in New York, can we run the deal past your team to see if we've optimized the structure of the deal? Yeah, Gavin, send it on over and I'm happy to take a look. But also, before you do that, what I would do as well is put it into Dewey, go inside of our member portal, and then navigate over to the Artificial Intelligence Hub. And when you're in the Artificial Intelligence Hub, what you want to do is go to the Dewey Instant Due Diligence Advisor tool and then pop your materials into there, and it will actually give you some great feedback and some great things to think about related to the structure. And it's good for you to know how to do that so you really leverage the AI tools in the platform, but we're happy to take a look as well. So here is inside of our portal. Most would be within the CEO Fund Manager portal. You just go to Artificial Intelligence Hub, click, it loads. Then you look for the Dewey Instant Due Diligence Advisor tool, which is this one right here. So that's how quick and easy it is to find all of our tools. Make sure you download the desktop app. That's what you're seeing here in front of me. But all of our AI tools, all of our videos also work on the mobile app on your phone. So as you're walking the dog, as you're exercising, as you're waiting in line at the airport, you can be streaming talks from centimillionaires or from discussion panels, etc. The name of the camera is the Ozbot, O Obsbot, OBSBOT Tiny 3. So what I'll do is put the name of that into here. And honestly, I already had a 4K camera, but it was not amazing. This one has a much bigger sensor for any camera nerds out there that actually knows what that means. Like, it's the best camera you can get for live streaming without it turning into a huge pain in the butt every time you want to live stream. You have to set up a Canon mirrorless, super fancy $1,500 camera. I don't know if this one is $300 or what, but I just put the name into the chat in case anyone wants to grab that. Highly recommend it. It's been awesome so far. And thanks for being here, James. All right, let me take a quick look at the Q&A, and then we're going to jump into a hot seat as promised. Sorry for the delay on that, but I'm glad we've had a lot of questions. Current AI tools are set up for ChatGPT. Are you switching those over to Claude? No, our current AI tools actually are not in GPT at all. So that used to be the case. But we've migrated all of them over to be basically independent AI agents that allow us to customize the functionality, customize what the tools do, make them more powerful, have it use more tokens on thinking and analyzing and producing results if we want to. And we also now, with a click of a button, could say, oh, you know what? Gemini 6.2 is actually kicking the backside of Sonnet 3.7. So we're going to switch over this one tool that really relies upon doing a very thorough analysis of numbers and crunching numbers. We're actually going to switch the model on that agent over to the new Gemini agent or the new Grok agent, whatever it is. So it's more flexible, more powerful, and it's all within our member portal. So you can access it all, and you don't need a ChatGPT account to do so. So that saves you a subscription there. But in addition to our 50 AI tools, you're really missing out on half of the AI value we can give you if you're not using Claude Skills, Claude Projects, and Claude Cowork. We are doing so much within there that it's saving me a ton of time and allowing us to be more thorough and more effective. and it actually takes actions for you without all of the risks that come with OpenClaw. There's risks in using any AI, but I want to make sure that's clear to everybody in case you're familiar with how we used to operate with custom GPTs. That's not how we operate any longer. When is the Superintelligence Workshop? If you go to familyoffices.com, our schedule is there. I believe the first one's on June 15th, and we offer that event in New York City, Fort Lauderdale, Dallas, and Los Angeles. And we do that one day after another so that no matter where you are in the country, unless you're like me living in a very inconvenient place, then you're able to get to our events quickly. And importantly, all of our events, including the Investor Summit, start at 10 a.m. and we're done at 3 p.m. because we're serving a bunch of founders who, one, usually like to get their workout done in the morning, two, have a busy email inbox, might have to knock out a phone call or two before the event starts. And in that way, you're just way more productive rather than going to an event at 8 a.m. and being half distracted and sitting there all day without having to get your exercise in the morning, et cetera. How does it benefit hedge fund managers as a community? Does it connect them with capital allocators? Yes, it is a two-sided network. Our next investor summit, Adarsh, has more investors attending than business founders or fund managers. We're at 53% investors attending, and we have investors within the portal as well. We actually have 3 billionaires that have registered profiles within the portal. You can connect with people. You can send messages in the portal. You can send audio notes in the portal. We have centimillionaires in there, family offices, private investors, doctors, pro athlete investors, et cetera. Jay, good to hear from you. Thanks for being here. In seeking personal relationships with shared values and vision beyond dollars, is the absence of being live at or even prep before a live event. Do you suggest video talks by the founder to candidly address core topics together with a more formal? I'm not sure I get your question completely, Jay, if you can say it in a different way. Bob's asking, what's the best way to meet family offices interested in SPVs that I manage? So Bob, I think that SPVs are easier to get deals done with than a blind pool fund. But the easiest way to meet family offices is in person at our events. You can download their mental models, leverage our AI tools, craft your materials, vet partners, custom structure your deals, and be way more effective using our membership portal in between events. But nothing beats meeting someone in person. So that's definitely like most important. Otherwise, would make life more simple. Just not do those live events. Yeah, that last slide I'll put up again, Liz. And then, yes, the PowerPoint presentation, happy to share it. Maybe while sharing something later, I'll just drop the PowerPoint file into the chat so you guys have that. Do you also have US investors who are investing in private equity? Yes, for sure, we do. And do family offices have a network for joint ventures? Some of them do for sure. We've seen some of those get done. Some of them, like we have a billionaire that's done 19 deals in our community, and they have a publicly traded company. For that publicly traded company to pull the trigger, they have to have 50.1% because otherwise the company is just not allowed to allocate the capital. So if someone's allocating big dollars and it's close to 50-50, they may or may not want negative controls or anti-dilution controls or control, but they don't really have time to run the business. They want you to run it, but they have to be able to step in and save their own money if they're risking a lot of money. You can search through our portal for different types of investors. And we have an AI networking tool for our large summits so that we have deep research on each person attending and what publicly is known about their business and their investments and their balance sheet, et cetera. And then you say what you're doing, and it helps match you up against those folks attending. All right, that is more than enough questions to start with. Let's move on to getting a hot seat done. So I see that Gunter's on here. So if you are a charter member and would like to do a hot seat, just raise your hand like Gunter did. And then team, I'm not seeing JP on here, but maybe send me a direct chat if I am missing JP doing that. And we'll call on him in a second. JP is here. Awesome. Gene, is JP under your account, or are you just being helpful to me and letting me know that he is here? And then Daphne, if you can unmute JP, we can have him speak up here and start doing the hot seat with him. Jump all. Let's see if we can find him real quick. Otherwise, we'll move on to Gunter not to put everybody to sleep on the webinar here. GP. Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing him on here. So, Gunter, why don't we have you go first? And I just allowed you to be unmuted there. Um, how's everything going, Gunter? And what could we help you with feedback wise? Bueller? Gunter's maybe not able to unmute for some reason. Anyone else want to do a fireside chat here? James Reed, you just hosted a successful event of your own this past week, if I'm not mistaken. Even if you don't have a question for me, I don't know if you want to share like how that went and any feedback you could use from me on a strategy or something you learned at the event or feedback you need because you're really taking a ton of action. And we actually brought James up at our workshops last week because he has implemented more things than just about anyone else in our community. And he's the opposite of when I said that a lot of people don't implement the things that we think everybody should be doing. So, um, James, how you doing?
Good, good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. No, I have no problem sharing a little bit as well. So thanks for bringing me up. Again, James Reed with Investa Capital. We fund, build, and manage self-storage and flex-based developments. So that's kind of where our realm is and part of our strategy. And you preach a lot about this. It's just kind of being in the midst of the niche that you're in. And we created the Flex-Based Nation Summit platform where it's basically a gathering place where deals get done. Vendors, investors, operators. It was our very first summit here in St. Louis at the Maristar Casino. And we had nearly 200 people show up of really high quality product of different investors and developers wanting to advance into this flex industrial property. And so very thrilled. Got a great team behind me, but we're not one of one of our first real events. So watching you being at probably 15 of your about 12 of your events already.
Cool.
Definitely taking a lot of notes. But if you're in a niche, you might as well go as far as you can with it. We'd be happy to pose more questions as well. But that's kind of the gist of what we did with the
Yeah.
FlexBase Nation. We created the summit.
That's awesome. At our capital raising boot camp, which I think you've been to, we always stress that like Jay Abraham always says like the most powerful position to be in is to be preeminent in your space. And if you can accomplish that, then people know who you are. They send you deals. They're more willing to work with you. And getting yourself at the center of a space is tough because once it's mature, there's like lots of people fighting for that position. But when there's a new space like the flex space niche, some people haven't even heard of before. Just like when I bought familyoffices.com, and started this 19 years ago, a lot of people are like, well, what's a family office? Or they told me I was wasting my time there. So congrats on having the courage to go and do that. Because if you wait until it's obvious, then it's like Bitcoin at $82,000 versus $8. Like, half people think you're crazy at $8, but that's when you create more value, right? So
Yep.
um, I have like a two-part question. One, like anything you want to share with everyone listening about like how you got the courage and confirmation to go and actually do that in a growing niche. And then the second part of the question is out of everything you've learned at Family Office Club, what's like one or two things that like really moved the needle once you implemented them and really helped?
If you went back to your slide of, your one-liner, a couple minute video of the founder, I send
Right.
that out all the time. It's
Yeah.
easy for someone to get to know me. It's a really quality 3 minute video of who I am. And so whenever I'm meeting new people, it instantly gives them an opportunity to actually see me. If they don't meet me yet, I can send that out. I don't know how many hundreds of people have watched it on YouTube already because I have it live as well.
Yeah.
And so I would probably say that founder video is just, as you know, you're building trust with others in your group and family offices, and for them to actually see you, hear you, understand your backstory, and you have a really clear message within a 2 to 3 minute video. I think that's been vital for me to have that in my email signature, online, easy to be able to put that in different posts. So I would say that founder video is vital because we're the founders, right? We're kind of the voice of the company for a very long time. And if they can get comfortable with us, they'll get more comfortable with our team as well. So I would probably say that's probably one of my greater elements that I've been able to really leverage because you do it one time very well. I mean, you could probably have that video for at least 5 years before you have to renew it in
Yeah.
a roundabout way. So that's been a really big element.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The good thing about writing a short book or having a short video is like it's easier to edit. It's easier to redo if you need to. It's like literally a 1 minute video. So hopefully you don't have to edit it like often. But if God forbid you needed to edit it once a quarter, like after you initially create it the first time, it just gets easier to update and everything. And everyone always says like the team is what's most important, the founder is what's most important. Anyone can write any number on a piece of paper and promise you a 23% IRR or promise to 3x your money or 20x your money. Like it literally means nothing. Like, and it means even less now than it did 2 years ago when most people's deals were going well. And so that trust in the founder is like massively important. And like, how do you get them on a call? How do you get them to meet in person? Like many times through a video. What's one thing that you wish you knew 5 years ago that's not related to the video at all, not related to hosting your own event, and it's not something that like you and I spoke about here on the webinar today? That was like, man, if I knew that, it would have saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars, or I would have raised millions of more dollars. Like, is there a mistake that you wish you would have heard of on a webinar, or like just something that you just like implemented way too slow that you could share that's different?
You talk a lot about the deal structure. And I
Yeah,
think that that's really has helped me restructure some of my current deals. And so if I would go back 5 years ago, I think I would have a little more unique structure to really,
yeah,
maybe step into some new relationships that I don't have yet today because I'm now just in the last couple of years doing more of a unique structure. So I would say the structure aspect of your what you share in the room has really helped me kind of rethink through that. As you're familiar with our flex share model, that's a really unique model, and I think we've got a lot of traction with that. And so I would say
yeah.
anyone in the call today is just, can you rethink your deal? Is there another way to keep it unique, or have some one-off deals with a couple different investors to get them on board, to strengthen your pipeline by being more creative on the deal structure?
Yeah, that is such an important point. We talked about it a little bit at the speed event recently, but if you don't have the ability to custom structure a deal on the fly or custom structure your specific opportunity, then you can consult with our Deal Structure Ninja AI tool and explain what you're trying to do, explain what you're offering, and it will write out 10 custom deal structures for you. You can say, I like number 2 and 8, and it'll give you 10 more, 10 more. And you can take that to your attorney and say, hey, these two I think are the best. And the AI tool wrote out why each component is the way it is and why that's good for both parties and why it's unique and really dialed into my investor type I'm targeting. But this is very similar to like having good positioning. Like James said, he's in the flex space area. And personally, like most of the time, not always, we try to encourage people to have a brand that sweats for you, makes them lean forward, want to learn more. The deal structure as well. If it looks like everyone else's, then you just have an average structure. You have an average brand name, an average offering, like then you're just going to be kind of dead in the water. And the deal structure is so important. If we fast forward, 15 slides, these are the 9 deal terms that make or break a deal in my experience. And then we're going to call on you, JP, in just a second. And thank you, James, for volunteering. Appreciate you being here again.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it was good seeing you recently at the speed event. So these deal terms we don't have time to go into all of them. We're going to do a full day workshop on deal structure sometime in the next 12 months because we got such great feedback on this at our last event. But these terms are what drives most big deals getting done or not. And importantly, most people just don't realize that they can use this deal structure ninja tool. It's structured well over 7,500 potential deal structures for our members to date, and has done the work of essentially 8 full-time employees working a whole year each, the amount of work it's done. And many people just don't realize that the structure of the deal can trump the actual strategy or details of the deal. Like I could take a great deal, but if you allow me to structure it any way I want to, you can make it horrible for somebody, right? They could get no collateral, no cash flow. They get capped at a 0.5x, right? If you have all the collateral, all the cash flow, and you're uncapped and you have anti-dilution rights and you have negative controls or full control, like the structure changes everything. And so many times, like a savvy investor will go to someone when they're looking to buy an asset or get a deal done. And that person will be so stuck on getting a 7x or a 9x, they can brag to all their friends on the golf course how much they sold their medical practice for, what multiple they got versus someone else, that they might give you all the terms you want as long as you're able to go around knowing, hey, I got 9x. That's amazing. Okay, but maybe some is an earnout. Maybe some has conditions. Maybe you get seller financing, so you don't have to go to a bank or you don't have to raise almost any capital. Maybe you get special access to some things. Like there's so many other levers to pull. Giving up the valuation lever many times helps deals get done when you know how to custom structure something. So I think that's super important to mention. And I didn't know you were going to bring that up, James, but James does have a really unique structure. He does actually implement what we say more than I think anyone else in our club. He's one of our verified members. And it's been fun working with you and just watching you grow, James. So congrats on all that
Absolutely. Thank
growth
you.
along the way. Yeah, thanks for being here. All right, Gene, why don't we have you go next? And Daphne, if you can help me right click, ask to unmute on Gene's name, I'll try to find him and do the same.
Hey everybody, can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Can I turn on my video or
I don't know if it will let me on the fly allow you to do that. Let me
okay.
see. Give me 10
We'll share
seconds
my screen. Otherwise, I
here.
can just
Now I'll let you. Should
Okay.
work now.
Uh, it's working.
It says it should, but if it doesn't, I guess
I
it
don't see
doesn't.
the
But
button on my side, so it's okay. I'll just
okay,
get started.
yeah, no problem.
Okay. Hi everybody. I'm Jean-Paul Berland. Dr. B Dental Solutions is a dentist-founded personal care CPG brand with 2 million in revenue, where growth is limited by inventory, not demand. We're raising $3 to $5 million to fuel a proven capital to cash engine that turns inventory into revenue and unlock immediate proven demand, especially on Amazon. I'm Jean-Paul. I'm Dr. Lauren Berland's son. I'm the CEO of Dr. B Dental Solutions. We are building what we believe is the first modern oral care brand specifically designed for denture wearers and dental appliance users, one of the largest and most overlooked categories in consumer healthcare. Today, there are more than 41 million denture wearers in the United States and more than 90 million dental appliance users, including retainers, night guards, implant-supported prosthetics, and sleep appliances for snoring, which I recently got.
Maybe JP, do you mind if I share the one pager you sent me over this
Yeah,
morning?
yeah, that would be
Because
great.
that just might make it easier for people following, so they're not just
Perfect.
staring at me nodding while you're talking. But like basically,
Yeah,
like I thought this was super helpful for you to share. And if you don't mind, I could give you like 10 points of feedback that would help with strategy and your one pager here, and just give like candid feedback on that if you're open to that.
that's what I'm here for.
Awesome. Okay.
Honestly, like
So,
this is awesome. And I have to say, I love the AI tools. Like
oh, cool.
I spent the whole weekend doing that. That was like amazing.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So first of all, good job at least having a one pager. Like many times, and at least it has visuals on it. Many times people have a pitch deck, but not a one pager, or they say have a one pager and it's just like literally pure text. It's like a Word document. This one's front and back, totally fine. Much better than not having one. I prefer only doing it on the front, but that's just personal preference. Like you decide for yourself. The busier the person, the less likely they are to read something that's super, super long. But this is short either way. Um, First thing I would look at is the very top first impression. What I always try to emphasize is having like one strong, credible, using three credible numbers, one liner that really grabs people and hits them between the eyes. And so when I'm looking at the top of this, because people usually read top to bottom, left to right, I read seniors are the world's fastest demographic. Is your portfolio ready for the silver economy? Dr. B Dental Solutions investor summary. But what I would do is take all that real estate and maybe have your logo in the top right or top left hand corner, perhaps. But otherwise, what's most important, more important than them seeing your logo, is having that whole blue top left section condensed down to basically being your new crafted one liner. And so, off the top of my head, the one liner could talk about how you're an Inc. 5,000 company, or you have over $1 million in Amazon sales in 2024 alone. And 2025, I see on your little milestone chart, which I love, by the way, having milestone like
Thank
timeline
you.
charts. I think everyone should have that. Volume up to 100,000 the first year. I don't exactly know what volume up to 100,000 is, but I think you mean 100,000 units.
Yes,
It
of
might
the
be.
discovery set. That's
Okay,
on the right side there on the far right, the second page there. But
got
I'll
it.
happy to explain it further.
Perfect. I love the sales channel, like actual numbers from 2025, not a pro forma. Like anyone can make a pro forma look amazing, right? Like you give me a Google sheet, a spreadsheet, and I could solve world peace inside of it. It means nothing, right? But like real progress, like a real picture of your product, if you record like the more tangible and real and authentic and genuine and believable and credible and unique, the better. And so I would start with a one-liner at the top. I would then most likely take out the picture of the seniors and replace that with a 1 minute video of your father and you, or just you, if you're the CEO and your father's like part of the brains behind it, whatever it is, and have that 1 minute video in that top section, or just make it so your one-liner is there, and then down below, instead of about us or instead of market data, you've got a video there, and the opening slide of the video could be a friendly, smiling face of you or your father. And it could have a couple statistics on it that just jump out, right? Like you could have like one or two pieces of that marketing data in big font size on the cover slide of that video with kind of a play button. And if it's on PDF, you could click on it, it opens and plays a private YouTube video or public one. James makes his public, who was just on here a minute ago. And importantly, we have structured our membership portal within Circle to not only have our AI tools codify like what we've learned, but also the member profiles have been designed to be related to like what we've learned as well. So I'm trying to share my screen here. There we go. Basically, if you look at the member profile, you can put your one line description in there. We have that in there so that you can do that as a member so people very clearly see what you're all about. You can put your 1 or 2 minute video in there about what you do. You can put your one-page PDF profile in there. You can also down below put your pitch deck there. But notice, no one cares about your pitch deck unless they read the one-liner first, watch a 1 minute video, then they care more about your one pager, then they care more about meeting in person or seeing the product and maybe want it shipped to them or something like that. But the reason I
Totally.
share all of that is that I think that's applicable to just about everybody here on the call. And we've tried to make that native to like every part of our community. I have a couple more points of feedback. I just wanted to stop there in case you have any questions for me, JP, just on anything I've said up to this point.
All really great points. I mean, I would love to have like a more in-depth conversation, but like already I've been
Sure.
taking notes. Like you're totally right about like that real estate on the one pager, and also my profile on Family Office Club. I don't think it's saved. What I did, I
Okay.
did it on Friday with Xander. Shout out to
Okay.
Xander who's been amazing this entire process. So really
Awesome.
appreciate Xander's help. But it didn't save, so I had a really nice picture up there. I'm gonna update that.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely, I want to take advantage of all of these resources. I mean, like
Sure.
I can't. It's like built out for you, and like it's such a help.
Sure. Awesome. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. You're a relatively new member with us, and we didn't pay James or JP to say this stuff. We didn't know what they were going to say, right? It's like, so yeah, I appreciate you saying that. So to get back into the feedback here, and then Daphne or Xander on my team, if you can look out for who would be the next hot seat person. I'll probably cover 3 to 5 slides, and we'll do another hot seat after that. But basically, when I'm looking at the one pager, I see more text than visual. So I love that I can see the products. I really love seeing milestones and your sales from last year. I think those are like for sure, never take that off. But I would try to have less text. Like the test is if somebody gets your one pager over email and they just scan their boarding pass, by the time they make it to their seat on the airplane, they should be able to text their assistant back, yes, I want to do that call. or ask them these three questions, or like they should get what you do, like really quickly, really easily. And so maybe having a colored Amazon logo instead of a black and white one, same with Shopify, and have that on the front page and pop out. Like anything you can do to have it be so they instantly get, like, this isn't some person with an idea that's made zero progress. This is like a real product with real revenue. And they see in your one liner, like things that make them want to lean forward. Like the best things you could possibly say in a meeting, or the top three reasons people don't like your niche or wouldn't invest with you or assume wrongly about you, or the most compelling, high conviction things that close people when they do invest with you. Those are some of the things that need to go into that one liner, but also just on the one pager. Like by just glancing at the one pager, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute and a half, they're like, okay, got it. Yeah, wow, super interesting. Like, I wonder what they're doing about this, or wonder how they got that going, or whatever. So I think that's really important. And I would just make sure that when you're looking this over, that when you create that video, you use the video on your email signature if you can. You can text message it to people. You can put it on your one pager. You can put it in the pitch deck. But the main theme here, when I was looking this over, is just to try to make it more concise, less text, more visual, and just think what's the real reason why someone would trust me. And the one thing I circled here is that it all comes down to team, right? And so I would for sure have pictures and potentially bios, or at least the job title and the role of like who is it on the team, because people know Amazon, but at the end of the day, and it's great you had revenue last year, but like building trust, building the relationship with the team is super important. And I believe in that so much that with my own marketing, and when I'm reaching out to families, I'm always having my email signature have my picture on it. And a lot of people don't do that. And my business card has my picture on it, because if you go to like our
Me
event
too.
later this
Yeah.
month and there's like 400 people there, like how are they going to remember who you are versus the other ones? Like, oh yeah, I'm the one that has like the denture, the dental product. Like, okay, that can set you apart. But connecting the business card to like the email signature, like this is my email signature, it just makes a big difference. Like it
Oh
just
yeah.
just makes it
Yeah, but
simple.
mine had the picture, but like yours looks a lot better. And in terms of like business card to remember you by, I have like a secret weapon, and it's our
Yeah.
clean it at wipes. It's the dental cleaning wipes, which is something that like we basically invented. It didn't exist before. And so
Huh.
our niche is the denture care market, but like the wipes and the toothpaste, they're great for everyone, including people with natural teeth. I take them
Yeah.
with me everywhere I go. And so if you're at a conference and you're having lunch and then you're going to be talking to people, I give out a
Yeah.
ton of those wipes, and literally people will go crazy for it. I have friends that I'm pretty sure are only friends with me for those wipes, which was a joke.
Sorry, I just cut out there right as you were talking for a second, but it's back now. But yeah, that's funny. That's unique. I mean, I think that in general, the more unique, the better, as long as it's not distracting, from like what you're trying to get done, of course. And if it's native to your niche and part of your product line, then that's a good thing to keep doing, obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean, what's better than like trying a product and saying, I want more of those?
Yeah, yeah, totally, for sure. Um, awesome. Yeah, well, thanks for being here, JP. And then if you have any other questions, comments, feel free just to submit them through, the chat function here. And I appreciate you volunteering to do the hot seat since you're pretty new to the community.
Yeah, thank you so much, Richard, and everybody that was on the call today. I got some LinkedIn requests, so I'm pretty sure that's from this. So I can't wait to connect with all of you. And
Cool.
I'm just so glad to be part of this club, and I look forward to participating more in the future.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I'll see you soon at one of our events.
Thank you.
Thank you. Um, all right, we have yeah, Scott. We have a couple comments here on chats and Q&A. I'm going to show 3 to 4 slides, and we'll see if we can do another hot seat. But Scott Dixon said at the most recent speed networking event we did in Fort Lauderdale, we had a former NFL player talk about how capital flows to structure. It doesn't flow to who promises the highest returns. It flows to clarity. And I loved the way that he said that, because I'm a big fan of structure, big fan of clarity. Clarity multiplies action. So I thought that was really, really interesting that he said that. Thanks for bringing that up, Scott. And if Scott, if you're wanting to do a hot seat, just let our team know and we'll try to have you go next. Where inside the Family Office Club ecosystem would you recommend learning institutional level deal structuring specifically for family offices? I'll show you exactly where to go so there's no confusion here. So I would go to our member portal, and then I would go to video library. And under video library, I would go to, let me maximize this. Oh, diligence and deal structuring. And then you'll see videos that come up here. And there'll be some videos related to basically our content on that topic. And we have in here a full day workshop on deal sourcing and deal structuring as well. And I think that would probably be the most helpful. Here it is right here. So I would look for this video. You could just search for this video. And then that will probably be the most helpful. It's called the Investment Structures and Tax Strategies Workshop, because we spent a 6-hour workshop and talked half the time about deal structures. We're actually going to be doing another, as I mentioned, full day workshop on deal structures. We've had so many questions come up for that. Could you put the slide deck in the chat? I would appreciate that. Yes, I can. Let me save it as a PDF so the file is not so massive. And give me 5 seconds to do that, and I will put it in the chat. Okay. All right, got it saved. Let me move it on over here, and then we'll see what other quick 1 or 2 questions there are, and then we will go over a couple of slides. All right, there's the PDF. It's uploading now, so it'll probably be there in about 30 seconds or so. Let me see what other chats came up here. All right, those with hands up. See your side. Yeah, no problem, Jason. All right, great. Let me look at the Q&A now. See if there's any new questions here. Yeah, so someone's asking anonymously that for our digital version of membership, $1 for the first week and then $75 a month for how long? Well, we hope a very long time, but just as long as you keep happy. We're not strapping you in for a 5-year membership. It's like if we don't impress you and you don't find the tools awesome and you don't think the 2000 investor talks in there and all the investor mandates and the interviews with billionaires. I've interviewed 45 billionaires so far. Centimillionaire interviews, discussion panels. If it's not worth it, it's not worth it. But like, there's no, for that option that starts with a $1 trial, which we can put the link again in the chat function, so it's available to everyone to see. There's no requirement to be a member for 6 months or a year there. It's just a way to see, oh yeah, it is real, it is valuable, cool, I should definitely be there in person. And that's the point of even having that membership option, basically. Kevin's saying, do you have summit panels designed towards power generation, grid, and infrastructure? We don't have a summit panel just on power generation, grid, and infrastructure, but we do have panels on like upcoming trends, like AI, energy, data center themed panels, and just kind of like what's coming on the horizon for family offices. What are people most excited about, worried about, focused on? We do have a lot of those types of panels. So I think if you attend, you'll find that a lot of the panels are relevant to your area and what you're looking for. I do see that the PowerPoint successfully got uploaded as a PDF there. So anyone who wanted that, feel free to take a look if it helps to access that. I'm going to get back into a couple slides real quick, and then we'll do another hot seat if we have one ready, Daphne, then we'll get that going. And all right, so a couple quick things. We talked about what most people mess up when they're raising capital. That's what's here. I also wanted to emphasize a couple of points related to getting deals done. If you've seen the movie Free Guy, he's basically a video game character that becomes like self-conscious, self-aware. And he was like a non-player character. And one thing I believe in is that most people just act like most other people. And like Dan Kennedy says, if you're not sure what to do, just do the opposite of everyone else, and it's probably going to work better because most people aren't hyper successful. That's what the power of proximity is all about. But also, when you approach people, like you can't just look like every other multifamily offering or like every other credit fund, right? Like there's 10,000 people out there. It has to look unique, not to you and your team, but like really unique to them, but also uniquely more authentic, genuine, high trust. They know you more. They really believe in you as a founder, and you've given them value, et cetera. And one thing related to the challenge of getting deals done is just that not only is cold email collapsing, all types of email are collapsing. There's so many services out there that will send 100,000 emails for you a week or per month that over time, there's just less and less people opening up their emails every year, right? From 2024 to 25, it went from 5.1 to 3.4. I think that the AI trend is accelerating. Pretty sure you'd agree with me. So I do not think this is going to be linear. I think that 2026 is going to be like 1.9 or 1.5%. And they say for ultra wealthy families, it might be 0.2 to 0.5% of cold emails get replied to. So what's the answer to that? Well, part of the answer, meeting in person. Part of the answer, have a one-liner. Part of the answer, have super, super unique offerings. Even better answer, don't focus on your offering and your initial pitch. Focus on how you can add value to somebody else. So that's what this slide is about. Maybe you have a physical book you could give them. Maybe you own a choke point that helps one of their assets on their balance sheet. Maybe you could get them interviewed on a big podcast. Maybe you could help their kid get into the university that you went to. Maybe you could help them with connecting to peers, to clients, to customers, to the CEO of a bank, or with an AI tool. Or maybe you created a 30-point question, master due diligence questionnaire for yourself with all the answers for investors, but now you could clean that up and say, here's the one on us, but also here's a cleaned up one. So anytime you go to invest in anybody, send them this, have them answer these same 30 questions. The reality is most people will be too lazy to answer all 30 questions. If they do answer, their answers will be thin and unsubstantiated and basically not very well written out. And it will eliminate most of your competition because the investor will be like, oh, you're not even willing to answer my questions, but you want $1 million of my dollars? Like, no, thank you. And it shows it's not your first rodeo. So add value first. That's how you get people to respond, is that you are the only one really saying, here's a ton of free value. Would you like it? I'd like to help you do this. Do you want that? And it's in their best interest to say yes, right? That is the best way to pitch, is not to pitch. It's to build a relationship first and then just have what you do come up. And when it does come up, you've got this amazing one-liner and you've got the video, right? The other thing to think about is what other people don't want to do. It's so easy to send an email that I have my phone number like on my LinkedIn profile. I have my phone number everywhere. I put it on stage. I put it in this webinar PowerPoint. I have it on our website publicly. I say, shoot me a text message. I'm the founder. I'll actually write you back and answer your questions. Like, I'm not afraid of that. I'm like fully focused on running this family office club. And most people don't do that. And the point of bringing that up is, even though I do that, I only get like 4 to 7 voicemails a day. I think one day I had a record of like 12. How many emails do you all get per day? Hundreds of emails, right? So like on average day, I'll get 700 plus emails. And that's with filtering turned on and spams and, Gmail putting stuff in different boxes for me. And I still get 700 emails. So if I only get 7 voicemails and I get 700 emails and my phone number is in more places than your phone number is, and the average investor doesn't have their phone number in all the places I have it, like it's 100 times more competitive in email than it is leaving a voicemail. So think about what's easy, what's lazy, what's average, what everyone is doing, and do something different. If somebody is worth emailing, maybe it's worth also just having a voicemail. They might pick up some of the time. And your voicemail could say, well, if you prefer email, you could reference my email, richard@familyoffices.com. And you can see that I have this connection I'd like to make between you and this other family office that also made their money in manufacturing. I think you'd have a lot in common. And then when they see your email, they might see your one-liner or your 1-minute video under your email signature, but you're starting out with pure value, right? And so you want to do, like, anytime you can do something and it makes you 20% more effective, 50% more effective. So yeah, you should probably lean forward and consider that. In this case, it's 100x more effective in terms of level of competition. which is just insane, right? So I would definitely leave voicemails more often than you are right now. I would also see who are the hub spoke relationships in your niche, right? CPAs that are hyper connected, the best brokers, the top newsletters, the best influencers, media platforms, conferences, clubs, associations. Like, where's all the deal flow? Where are all the investors? And make friends with some of them, partner with them, add value to them, build those relationships, and get like a hub spoke distribution channels going for your business or for your capital raising, and that can change everything in your business. So I'm going to stop there, see what questions came up, see if there's another hot seat that we could do. I'm sure out of the hundreds of people on here that we've got a few more members on here, such as Scott. Oh, one person said they've got to run. Let me launch the little poll quiz that we do each time we do a webinar. If you don't mind answering those for me, it would just help us make the webinar better next time around. We ask for feedback at all of our live events, and I read through them all carefully just to see like where we could be sharper and not put people to sleep, have better speakers on stage, etc. So thank you for giving us a quick rating and feedback there. And yeah, thanks JP for being on there. Appreciate it. Lewis is saying, yeah, totally true. I get way too many emails. Yep, Chris, I'm glad you liked the meeting. Thanks for being here. I'm hesitant to put my contact info publicly due to spammers and scam. Well, James, you might have 10 times the social media exposure that I do, but it's 99% likely that you don't. And I have 128,000 direct connections and followers on LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn newsletter with 68,000 subscribers. We have 16.5 million members in our LinkedIn groups, and my phone number is everywhere. And I don't have that much of a problem, honestly, with getting, spam texts or phone calls. Surprisingly, do I get spam texts like crypto scammers or whatever sometimes? Yeah, for sure. But from talking to my friends, it seems like everybody does. And I'm still only getting 7 voicemails a day, even though my phone number is everywhere. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, it's a trade-off of, will you have a little bit of extra hassles? Yes. Will you be more accessible and be able to text people back and be helpful to them like in real time and not get lost in inboxes as much and not miss an important message? Yes, I think that will also happen. So it's just like people saying like, oh, I don't want to like connect my AI tools to like my calendar or my Slack or my Gmail. Yet you can set it so that AI does not train on your data. And if you are using an iPhone, there's probably 10 foreign governments listening to every word you say. There's probably multiple mobile apps like tracking your every activity, if not much more. Your smart TV is taking pictures of you in microseconds to see your reaction to, any TV show you're watching on Netflix. And Gmail is powered by Google AI. Chrome has Gemini AI built into it. And if you're using Microsoft Outlook or Microsoft Windows, they have Copilot. Like it's basically like just don't use tech. Like, right? Just like send a letter with a dove if you don't trust big tech, like you basically just can't do anything these days. So it's just a matter of convenience and speed. And the very first thing you should do if you do get Claude or other AI tools is go to setting, go to privacy. No, don't train on my data, but just assume anything you say digitally anywhere or even out loud could be recorded or held up in court one day. So that's definitely just a reality of our world today. Let's see here. So I've got a question from Lee here. Says that we're raising a $3 million seed round. It's an app-enabled shared medical office MSO company, franchise model for primary care. They raised $1 million from a local family office. How does your family office platform enable members to connect with family offices looking to impact? Yeah, so you could go through our video portal within the member portal. You just go to the video library and you can just search by medical, search by doctor. And you can find videos to watch there and see if you want to connect with some of those investors. You could come to our live events and I would stay in the room. Some people try to network so hard, they miss all 75 speakers on stage, it seems. And they'll come up to me afterwards and be like, hey, do you know anyone that's working in this niche or that niche? I'm like, yeah, we had like 30 of them on stage. And they're like, oh yeah, I was just so busy networking. I like missed those. But like, then you miss the 5 people who are like literally asking for exactly what you're doing. So don't miss what's said on stage. Like every discussion panel, we ask, what do you invest in? How do you prefer to structure your deals? What are you looking for? What do you not like? What does everyone mess up when they pitch you something? Like the intelligence you get from hearing 75 people on stage, even if 20 you find boring and 10 you find unrelevant, which like hopefully is not the case, but like the intelligence you gain, and then you can pinpoint approach some very specific people based on exactly what they're doing and how you could add value to them, but also build a relationship and maybe work together or do a JV. That's one of the best ways to make connections within the club. But also importantly, you could never come to any of our events and get massive value just from using the AI tools to refine your positioning, your deal structure, your pitch deck, your one pager, your video, your one liner, your communications, the emails they send out, your strategy using our hyper intelligent tool, which uses 20 AI tools in one to create like an instant advisory board, and it votes on things and tallies up the 20 votes and plays devil's advocate and looks at different sides of the equation and helps you refine your ideas and evolve them as a founder. Like, even if you didn't come to any of the events, the AI tools and the videos help you with any investor you pitch from anywhere. You show up to a meeting, you're going to be more prepared, more concise, more articulate, more dialed in, and be able to vet partners using our instant partner insights tool. Dodging a bullet of not partnering with the wrong person can completely change your world, right? So really important. Yeah, James, just cost of doing business. I see. I'm just making the phone number available. It's like people get like really upset over like a spam piece of mail coming in your mailbox. It's like, yeah, just throw it in the trash. Like if it doesn't really upset me if someone sends me a catalog in the mail I didn't sign up for. I'm just kind of like whatever. Um, so Alice is saying that you have loads of folks that reach out, but you want to change your messaging. Yeah, I think that positioning is a superpower. Deal structuring, superpower. Using AI can be like plugging into electricity, just like plugging into capital. Michael Scott phrased it that way the first time I heard it. He came to our club, had never raised money, raised $12 million, and then sold the company for over $100 million 3.5 years later. And I believe he's going to be at our single family office summit at the end of May, in case anybody wants to chat with him about anything. I'm not seeing the PowerPoint. Awesome info. Yeah, I'll put the PDF file for the PowerPoint here again in the chat. And then hopefully that just makes it easy to access. It is not Michael Scott from The Office, but he does have a good sense of humor, but he is more politically correct, thankfully, when he speaks on stage and just in general than the Michael Scott on The Office, who said many funny things, but 10% of them would not be allowed to be said in today's society for sure. I've watched all The Office probably twice, and my wife just saw The Devil's Wear Prada with my 13-year-old daughter last week and was reminding me about the episode where Michael comes in and throws his coat over the secretary's head. Does your community include family office institutional investors with billion-dollar plus development type deals? Yeah, for sure. We have institutional investors. I wouldn't say we have tons of endowment funds and pension funds and insurance plans on stage. If anyone has connections in that space, would love to have a couple more. But we do have billion-dollar plus family offices. We have RIAs that sometimes invest $30 million or $50 million in a deal. We have some billionaires that have publicly traded companies, but not like we have dozens of those at every event, right? But we do have many billion-dollar plus organizations. Let's see here. I'm grateful. Yeah, David, thanks for being part of the community. Let me look in the Q&A section real quick. And then Daphne on my team or someone on my team, if we do have someone queued up for a hot seat, I'm happy to do another hot seat. Otherwise, I do have a few more slides I can share next here as needed or wanted. Liz has her hand up here. Awesome. All right, just click to allow you to unmute, Liz, if you want to.
Hi, thank you, Richard. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Happy to be here. Your family office club has served us very well.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate you being here. And I guess what is the number one reason why you would even say that? I guess just to share with the members, and it doesn't have to be overly complimentary. It could just be something matter of the fact or what you found refreshing here versus other communities or something, just because I'm curious to hear.
Well, definitely you highlighted on a couple things just today and at the last speed networking event in LA that you said, be different. Everyone gets emails, I don't know how many a day, and no one gets text, but everyone's on their phone, or very hardly do they get text, but everyone is on their phone. And it should be something they can just read very quickly and move forward. So what we ended up coming up with is, I'm having and that's one of the things that I want to share. It's not super, I wasn't prepared to share all of this. So it's not, I didn't go through it all too well, but I think we're doing a
Sure.
pretty good job for what it is. For example, we are having our assistant develop landing pages for each of our deals so that it
Nice.
creates a visual that we can just quickly text out to our investors and they can get back to us quickly, like, okay, send me the rest of the package or um,
Awesome.
the project.
Yeah, that's great. I think like if you have permission to text somebody, it's amazing to do that. Or if they prefer WhatsApp, using a WhatsApp audio note or audio note via text. And then if in case someone hasn't tried this, it might work with Google Drive or Box. But I know in Dropbox, if we have a video in there and we right click on it and you grab that copy Dropbox link to the video, you can send that to yourself on your mobile phone via like WhatsApp or Slack or email. And then you can send that to people via text message and the video preview will load on their text message. And then they can watch and you can just say, if you just have 54 seconds, like here is what we're doing inside of this deal. And then of course we have a one pager, a data room, a master due diligence questionnaire, and a deck if you want to learn more. But it just takes 54 seconds to see what this opportunity is. And since we have 3 million in revenue, last year inside this company, we think you're going to find it compelling or something like that, right? Like whatever your one-liner is.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I would share. I just don't know how to share I don't know if I would share it to everyone or.
Sure. Yeah, if you have a link to a one pager or a pitch deck or a website you want me to quickly review, you could put it in the chat and I could do that. And then otherwise, if you want, we could just use the time to see what questions you had after coming to our most recent event, or maybe talk about like the number one challenge you still have that we didn't talk about at the event that we could be helpful to you on, and maybe it would help some other people that are listening here today.
Okay, yes, sure, we'll do that. So I have noticed, and I don't know if you can go into more in depth, and I have not had a chance to fully watch through everything that you've uploaded on the Family Office Club site with regards to Claude, but I have downloaded Claude. I have downloaded all of the skills. That's been
Nice.
extremely helpful. Now I'm trying to expand my knowledge. I'm using Cowork, which has
Awesome.
been amazing. I've already connected the Drive, the Gmail, all of that, and I absolutely love what it can do.
Great.
I'm curious about how you use it within your teams. I did research that there is a Claude team um, option, and you
Yeah.
like a minimum of 5 seats. Have you found that useful? I don't know if that's something that you talk about in the webinar. Like I said, I haven't gone through it completely, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so really, really awesome that you're taking action on it. So what I'm doing right now is dialing in cowork like super deep for myself, but in thinking like 5 weeks ahead for the June workshop, I'm thinking, okay, like for people that were at the speed event, what between now and June would selfishly just really help our company, but also be some more fresh material for the event coming up, et cetera. Because we have more than enough to share that fill up the whole day already. But what's the next step in what we're doing? And I think what you're talking about, coordinating among the whole team, what to do is one of those next steps. One thing I found with Cowork is that it's more resource intensive. So for those of you who use like Claude Code already or Cowork know, like it just requires a bit more RAM and a bit more processing speed, or it'll slow down your computer. And so like just yesterday, I upgraded my computer. So I have like a dedicated NVIDIA graphics chip, faster processor, like 64 gigs of RAM. And now it's lightning fast and it's like 3 times faster than on my old laptop. And my old laptop was a nice laptop, but it was like a web browsing laptop. It wasn't like an AI production laptop. And so like one thing I'm thinking through that founders need to think through is like, okay, who on the team would benefit from it most, and maybe just roll it out to them first, right? You might have 15 or 50 or 100 people on your team, but maybe there's just 5 people to roll it out first, is the way I'm thinking about it. And then you also have to think like, what machines are they using? I didn't want to switch over to Mac, but Macs are much faster than PCs if you're okay with the pain and suffering of like just getting used to how they operate.
Mhm.
And then basically you just have to think like, do they have computers that are just going to get bogged down, and it's really going to slow down their work, even though it speeds up their work on Claude, and just be aware of like some of that trade-off. So like we're thinking through that in real time, and every week we're putting new co-work processes and like scheduled tasks in place, et cetera. So but yeah, that's where we are in thinking it through. I mean, what about yourself? Are you looking to pull the trigger on that soon, or just something you're just being thoughtful on this year as you get more comfortable with it?
No, I'm literally feeling like Elon Musk says, like take your 10-year goals and condense them into 6 months. I'm hoping to pull the trigger on that soon. I do
Cool.
have, the VA set up with her own personal Claude plan for co-work, but I have noticed that the team from the research, I have noticed that the teams allow for collaboration across those other accounts, and so I'm considering that being more, seeing more utilization out of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because like that is the way to think about it. Like if you can create artifacts in there and share custom skills, and like I've trained our Claude based on like 17,000 messages I wrote myself to talk like me. And if my team member now can help produce copy in my voice with the vocabulary I use, leveraging like deep data through some shared resource, like that one case use alone like becomes more powerful and helpful. And there's just so many hundreds of those that are possible. Like that's part of the goal of the AI workshops, is to like make sure it's super clear all those different ways it could be used, like a wide variety of use cases, kind of like we talked about at the speed networking event. What else? What's been a challenge with co-work for you, or what's another challenge that you're facing outside of AI that we can help with real quick as well before we move on?
Yeah, no other challenges with co-work right now. I'm still kind of figuring that out and setting everything up. Like you said, training it in different ways. So I think that will come as I go.
Yeah,
Other challenges are more so, I mean, I don't know. You've been really helpful. So I can't really say I have any, I don't have anything bad to say. You've been really helpful in the sense that you've taught us at every event, like how you structure it matters. I love how you also talked about the last time, I don't care, I'll send a deal 50 times and restructured to the same person until they say yes. I
yeah,
definitely think that way too. And so Claude has definitely helped do that because there's a lot that I don't understand. And so I'm in private money. And so we lend
sure.
on deals of all sizes, and our referrals come at 250,000 refis, or, large development deals like over 100 million. And so obviously
Wow.
you need a different skill set for each type of deal.
Yeah,
And this Claude definitely really helps me to bridge the gap. But there was one
yeah,
other thing that I did want to mention that I also appreciate about you, and I don't know if there's any way I can add value to the events in this way, but you also, at every event, I've noticed you also bring up the fact that health is wealth, and that there are different definitions of wealth other than your ROI in the financial sense.
yeah.
And I really resonate with that. So I'd love for us at a different time, of course, to have a deeper conversation around where I can add value with regards to that topic at our events.
Yeah, totally. I mean, those are like two of my most favorite topics, is AI and health. So you could talk about that stuff all day long. Like I have like a hour-long talk on investing in your health that I sometimes give about becoming ultra healthy, not just ultra wealthy, that I just think is super critical. And the other thing is that um, before I forget, we do have, if you're a paid member, you can bring a minor, like 17 or younger, to our events for free. Have them skip school. They're going to learn more at our event than they would ever learn at school, I promise. And then also, if if you'd want to, if you're an investor with us, then you can always bring your spouse or a child with you to the event. And I think that's important and part of being like holistically successful, just to like show family members what you're doing and groom them to be successful founders when they grow up. And then real quick before we go, Liz, like just one idea comes to mind is that if you take our Dewey tool and you talk to your team and you formalize like, you know what, these are the 5 or these are the 10 things that eliminate most deals, like, and we shouldn't even be like looking at them with our human brain if it doesn't meet these 5 or 10 criteria, and these are our 5 core values as a company, then what you can do is just have that in a notepad text file on your computer, and anytime a deal comes in, you can basically copy paste that into Dewey, put the deal up in there, and then basically have it do a custom Dewey instant due diligence analysis, but have it consider your core values, the 7 things that you always like eliminate 99% of deals on because they don't meet those 7 things up front, but then also get the full Dewey report on the deal. And then that might save your team some time and just help you with using that AI tool of ours.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for being on here. Appreciate it. And we'll see you at the May event later this month.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks. So since Liz brought up health and AI, let me show you just a couple slides real quick. I prepared on that. So we've prepared 10 proprietary skills that you can download to Claude. If that makes no sense, and I'm speaking Japanese right now to you, like just go to Claude.ai, play around with it, come to the May event, and then I'll talk about AI during one of my 4 presentations at that May 28th, 29th event in New York City. And then the week of June 15th, we're hosting the full day implementation workshops, and you will leave that workshop knowing exactly what Claude is. Even if you do nothing before showing up that day, just bring your computer so you can take action on things. It doesn't need to be a super expensive Mac or a super expensive computer. It'll just go faster if it is. But just real quick, in the member portal, we explain what the skills are. We have an hour-long webinar on how to use Claude Cowork and different examples of it. But I just wanted to share a couple of quick examples, and one of them is related to health, is what reminded me when Liz was speaking, that like when we have been redesigning our website lately, it helps me analyze best practices of what other membership organizations do, what other investment events do, but also what best practices of just top marketing and website design experts would recommend. And mixing that together to give me holistic feedback has been super helpful. Our new membership portal was built out with assistance of AI, moving all our AI tools from ChatGPT over to our own AI agent platform was helped with by AI. And then also I have a thing on my phone set up, and it's a Claude conversation. I call it Battle of the Bulge, and it's like my health conversation, and it's connected to my Apple Health. And basically, it tells me my steps, my movement activity, my calories burned. It ranks me among other 44-year-olds and among others in general. And it tells me, for example, that because I'm working on getting my visceral fat percentage down, and it tells me like, oh, well, your VO2 max is like elite, but your HRV, like not very pretty. Like you need to drink a little bit less caffeine. You need to sleep more. You need to do breathing exercises a little bit more to get your nervous system health corrected. And basically it's saying that if I focused, the data is telling it, which is the same, it aligned with some blood work data I had done, that getting my HRV up, which is good, the higher it is in general, getting my cortisol down and working on my insulin response and just not eating the processed foods, sugar. And if you do have something sweet, to eat it with some fat so that the sugar gets broken down more slowly. Like those are like insights that come, they can make you more ultra healthy, that like most people don't know about HRV and, you know, controlling your insulin response. And most people do need to work on lowering their cortisol. So like just some cool uses for AI. We moved our portal over. The last time we moved our portal as a club, it cost us $25,000 in 9 months. And we moved over the bulk of it in 9 days this time. To be honest, that doesn't count all the investor mandates because we're doing 40 to 50 of those a day still a month later. And we'll have all of those done, plus the family office blue pages done in time for our event later this month. This is the coolest use for AI, is that, and yes, Elsa, it will be available in the $75 a month. The only thing not available in the $75 a month is our investor databases that take a VIP membership, the benefits of the verified membership, like us doing your one-liner, your 1-minute pitch video. The verified membership comes with one exhibit table and 2 discussion panels on stage as well. So you basically get $15,000 of stage exposure for the $10,000 verified membership, plus a year of membership, plus your 1-minute pitch video. So we tried to make it like irresistible. But basically, it includes everything but the live events and the things I just said, Elsa. So I hope that that is helpful to hear. Am I muted, or can everyone hear me okay? I got some feedback that maybe I was muted for a second there. Yeah, Alice, your passion is health. Awesome. Appreciate you being on here. I saw a couple questions up above here. How would you recommend protecting innovative breakthrough concepts while pursuing investors? Or maybe help entrepreneur get comfortable with sharing if they feel it's highly secretive? I think that NDAs up front just kill deals. Like sometimes people are like, oh, I can't tell you anything unless you have an NDA. I'm like, what? You can't even tell me like what industry it is? You can't say it's a dental practice somewhere in North America doing 4 million in revenue. Like then it's just an automatic pass for me. Like I think people are like too guarded. It's like, all right, well, good luck like getting anyone to show any interest. So like obviously that's an extreme example, but it happens. Same with people who say, hey, do you have time to jump on a call? And I'm like, oh yeah, well, what's it about? And they're like, oh, I've got a deal I got to pitch. Like, oh, cool. Can you like give me a little summary here? Like, no, it can only be said over the phone. Like, all right, well then, like I can't dedicate 8 minutes or 15 minutes of my life over the phone if I don't know anything, because it might be something I love. Let's say I was a dry cleaner or auto dealership investor, but if it's an auto dealership in Guam, like I might not want to like spend time looking at that, right? Like any busy investor, the more valuable the investor, the more highly sensitive they are to not wasting their time, because they get pitched more often and their time is worth more, and they have more things going on, right? They have 1,000 employees or 20 different LLCs they're overlooking, et cetera, right? So I would share as much as you can without sharing the secret sauce. And honestly, so much of business is execution. People hearing your secret sauce does not mean that they're going to take the effort and go and try to recreate it. But keeping it so secretive that no one knows what you have is almost a sure path to never raising any capital. So I'm super anti being super strict on NDA stuff. Just after doing this for 20 years, it's just what I see over and over again. For your data room, what service do you like? We just like using Dropbox. Maybe some super security nerd would laugh at that and be like, oh, how stupid. That's not super secure because of this or that. But like, that's what we use. I mean, talk to your compliance counsel. We do license our AI tools to a platform of 500 fund managers at Avestor. And Avestor helps with like back office investor administration, calculating taxation, calculating distributions, as well as hosting a data room and your DDQ and your investment materials and taking in capital. So it's like a whole investor relations solution. So if you want to talk to Badri or Sanjay at Avestor, they're the founders. They come to a lot of our events. So I would recommend checking them out. Yeah, John, it'd be great if you do a hot seat next time. Appreciate you being here. Let's see here. If we use, oh yeah, this is a great question. And we'll try to finish up here in under 15 minutes in case anyone's wondering how long this is going to last for. Leonis is saying, if we use a pitch deck scoring AI and we get a high score, what's the next step? And does this trigger investor interest? Well, if you get a high score, it means that the tool tried to look at your pitch deck, like 25 sides of a Rubik's Cube, and said, yeah, those colors are like pretty well aligned. If it says it's really high, it doesn't mean that for sure you'll be able to raise capital. If it says the score is really low and you disagree with it, I would trust your gut. The more experienced you are, the more you should always be trusting your gut over AI. AI is like, let me look at everything on the internet related to this, look at a sampling of that information and give you like a down the fairway collective best practices on this. And the pitch deck scoring tool, which has been very popular in our community, just looks at 25 sides of a pitch deck and ways to consider improving that side of the Rubik's Cube. It doesn't mean that its judgment will be perfect. It's just like, have you considered that angle of the cube or not? Just to help you think about it in a more multidimensional fashion. It doesn't automatically push it out to investors. I would say if your deck is great, okay, is your one-liner amazing? Is your one-pager amazing? Is your 1-minute video amazing? Is your email signature have your picture on it? Does your business cards have the picture on it? Is your deal unique enough? And then what strategic choke points are you trying to acquire? Which of our events are you going to? What AI tools do you know how to use outside of those? Is your deal structure super unique and dialed in? Those would be all the next steps in my mind, because then any meeting you go to, whether it's our investor summit or a private meeting, you'll hopefully be more productive, more effective, and more unique. I think that would be the next steps that I would think of. Yeah, David, thanks for being here. And I saw a couple more questions come here. My company is guilty of NDAs, debating about leaving and starting my own. Good to know. Dorothy's saying that passion is health and fitness as well. Yeah, that's awesome. That's one of the reasons why I live in Hawaii, is that it just encourages me to be outside with my 3 girls and my wife and be healthy. And we live in a small community. It's like 30,000 people that live here. So my friends from school or from CrossFit, or like there's a Navy SEAL that speaks at some of our events. I had coffee with him yesterday. He lives here for half the year. And you just get to see people around town. And I just feel like the more you live in a real community and actually move your body around and eat food that hasn't been processed and isn't packed with chemicals to sit on a shelf, like the more that you're just being a healthy human being. And that's just like the way we're like meant to live in my mind. Um, Interesting to hear how sophisticated investors are thinking beyond the allocation towards execution, for sure. I think Mohammed, that's a really important point. If most of the ultra wealthy investors are super entrepreneurs, then the more that you become like them, the more successful you'll be in business. But also, some of those super founders might not have the unique ability and superpowers that you do, or they're going to respect you, or there's someone doing 70 million in revenue that just spoke at our event about 10 days ago. And he said to me on a call 2 days ago, he's like, Richard, I saw you speak. And I just know from doing 70 million in revenue, he said, I know how to fish. And a fisherman recognizes another fisherman. That's why I want to work closer together. And so that's like the cleanest way of saying it, is that like, if investors want to be more like you or impressed with what you've pulled off as an owner, and they just respect like your skills, they respect your game, they respect your accomplishments, they say, oh, like that's amazing, that's awesome, yeah, I had a similar experience doing this, and like I know how hard that is, so congrats on pulling that off. Normal human beings do not realize the amount of challenges, the amount of decisions, sometimes the amount of pressure that founders live under. So founders get other founders, right? Just like surgeons get other surgeons. Like it's hard to put into words what a surgeon or a founder has to deal with to scale to several million in revenue and sustain that over a long period of time. So it changes how you think about raising capital if you just think about it as founders and super founders. That's like basically what's going on. And you want to be more like the super founders for your own execution ability, but also it's just going to help you raise capital or get debt financing or be more stable, et cetera, right? So, and that's been the most fun thing about running Family Office Club, is that like I get to ask super founders whatever I want on stage selfishly, and I get bored easily, so I'm not going to ask them the same thing every time. But like at our last event, I got to interview someone who does 900 million a year in revenue, which is like insane, right? And he's in his 40s. And so I got to ask him whatever I wanted and try to make it helpful for the whole audience. And to me, that's awesome. And I interviewed Marcus, who raised $4 billion from Blackstone, went public, then raised another $1 billion, and now has a $600 million plus platform. Hearing from folks like that, or interviewing Grant Cardone at our annual event last year, it's the third time he's been on stage, or Shark from Shark Tank, or earlier this year, we interviewed someone who's had 3 exits in tech. The last one is $100 million to a large bank whose name you'd recognize. And at our next event, we have a 70 million a year in revenue roofing company. We have someone who launched a platform with a retail service platform. And in 4 years, they've grown to 33 locations and 100 million in revenue. We have the #1 trust and estate attorney for family offices, who started out with nothing but aimed to serve this high-end niche and crafted a position on purpose in that niche, and now works with over 100 centimillionaires. We're going to dig into his mental models, what he's done, how he got momentum, how he sustained that success over a very long period of time. He works with dozens and dozens of billionaires, and he's inviting his clients to our single family office summit at the end of May. He's one of our fireside chats, and we're also interviewing someone, Chris, who's had $300 million exits in the home businesses industry. So those are the 4 fireside chats I'm doing just at our next event in May. Those are 4 of the 75 speakers on stage. So that's what makes the events exciting. It's like, that's why on that scale slide, when you say like we provide you with proximity, super intelligence, and scale, it's like you get to be around these folks and see how they act, but also get to pick up their growth strategies and what made them really take off, right? So if anyone has someone that like questions you want to have me ask, people like that, then definitely just let me know. All right, there's a couple of hands raised, I believe. Let me see if I can easily find those, Daphne. Actually, if you, Daphne, could unmute Sinclair, I think what we'll do with Jason Nightingale after Sinclair is 2 just real quick hot seats, because I want to wrap this up in the next like 9 minutes. So let's do a couple of 2-minute hot seats of like a quick question or two. I'll see if there's any like critical life-changing slides I skipped over in the PowerPoint, and then we'll try to wrap this up just about on time. But if you don't mind helping me unmute Sinclair, or if he's away from the computer, we can do Jason. That'd be awesome. Are you there, Sinclair? If not, we'll do Jason instead, maybe. And then I see, Charles, you have your hand up as well. So whoever unmutes first, I guess, of the 3, I just clicked unmute on all 3 of you. If any one of the 3 of you would like to go real quick for a little 2-minute hot seat.
Hello, hello.
Yep, you're working there, Jason.
Hello, Richard. Really always appreciate your content. I traveled to quite a few of the Family Office Club events in 2023. The next year I was hospitalized. And then now my wife is hospitalized with cancer. So kind of had a little bit of setback.
Sorry
One
to
of my
hear that.
businesses, I'm a financial educator, Safe Money Solutions, and we teach high profile individuals tax strategies, banking strategies. Basically, what I'm looking for is some strategic alliances. Going to your meetings, I gathered a lot of good information, and we got clients from that. But really, what I'd like to do is find a way to have the right pitch deck so that I could meet my goal and vision. Because we went to a strategic alliance summit, and of 156 CEOs and businesses that were there, our business was rated #1 as a 10-figure potential. And basically teaching strategies where people can pay off a mortgage in less than 1/3 of the time and have greater asset acquisition. And we can prove 3 to 5 times more income to a real estate investor if they use our strategy. And then, of course, we show them how to be tax efficient. So I know we're innovators. I know that, I'm definitely a visionary leader, and I know my business is very much a disruptor. But what I want to do is try to figure out how to be a high profile builder and get my foot in the door with big corporations, even churches, businesses, someplace that we can really make a difference instead of just pecking away one at a time. Because I know in our first 22 months when we went viral, we helped 1,500 people save 230 million. And that was just in a savings club with residential mortgages. And we gave regular families back over $2,000 a month within 30 days. So if I look at the numbers of what we can do for real estate investors and businesses, it would be absolutely astronomical. And I just was kind of hoping maybe you could help direct me as to where I might give that pitch once I get that pitch built.
Yeah, a couple of things. One is we do a 5-minute deal flow talks. It's only $5,000 and change. It's not like a huge cost to do that. So I would come to the event and consider having an exhibit table or doing a 5-minute talk and seeing how that goes. I also would look for multifamily offices that have hundreds of wealthy clients at our events, or tax advisors who already have hundreds of clients. And maybe what you're doing is so different that now they can mention a type of program that you do. And when someone says, yes, I would like to do that, you're the execution partner. Like, for example, my neighbor here in Hawaii, he specializes in like PPLI, and like one or two other capital gains type tax strategies. But I think that's really his focus, like not other strategies. So someone like that, he's already talking to business owners, dentists who are selling their practices, et cetera, all the time. And he could be a connector for you. In this slide I shared earlier, these are all the types of connectors. And we had David Babinski was at one of our events and he met a CPA, and the CPA referred 42 clients to him. And it was just from one relationship he met at one of our events. And so I think looking for those hub spoke types, the other thing to keep in mind is that if you're a VIP or verified member, we have databases on over 22,000 investor profiles. And one of those databases is a database of 550 investor clubs globally. And getting on podcasts, getting access to other investor clubs in addition to ours, you kind of use our investor club, our AI tools, our positioning strategies, and getting everything dialed in, but then use our platform to get access to many other platforms, like securing distribution through hub spoke relationships like that in any business is oftentimes one of the most efficient ways to grow.
I think that's great advice. And like you mentioned, CPA and attorneys, and they're so hard to get your foot in the door with those.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially if you don't meet in person, you're reaching out cold. It's like they barely have time to reply to their own clients, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like some people email me and they say like, when do you have a half day so I can fly out to Hawaii and we can brainstorm? Or like when do you have time and jump on the phone for an hour? And like it's really hard not to be rude and say like, do you mind just shooting me like an audio note or just putting in an email? Because like I just don't have like an hour spend time with a non-member, non-retainer client. Like it's just not physically possible. And it's like you just feel mean saying that. Like, how do you say that in a polite way, right? And like I think that's what a lot of attorneys are facing as well in today's world, where everybody's busier and busier trying to figure out AI to be faster, but AI is changing so quickly. Part of the reason we're doing the AI implementation workshop is like, hey, ignore everything on planet Earth related to AI. Just use our 50 tools, use Whisperflow, use Fireflies, and use Claude Cowork and Claude.ai, and like just ignore the rest of the world until you have that stuff implemented. Because with that, you can do so much more than most founders are doing right now that you'll be like light years ahead, and you just ignore the rest of the distractions, you know? So like that's part of the goal of doing those events. But yeah, thanks for being on here, Jason. Appreciate you volunteering.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see here. For those that use ChatGPT, is there any way to get the tools for GPT that used to exist? Yes. If you become a member with us, we will get you access to the ChatGPT tools. If you're a big fan of GPT and you want to live in there, you can pin the tools to your side. We still have all those tools operational for now. So just shoot us an email once you become a member and we'll send them over. But the tools are restricted for members only. We do have one or two tools that are free if you just want to check them out, make sure like they're real and they work. To get those, just go to billionaires.com and fill out the opt-in form, or familyoffices.com and do the same, or just shoot me an email at richard@familyoffices.com and we'll help you out with that. I just switched from my phone to my desktop and now I don't see the documents that you put into the chat. Yes, I will put the presentation into the chat here again because it takes 2 seconds. Any other quick questions before we end for the day here with this webinar? I don't want it to go too long past when we had scheduled it. If there are questions, please put them in the chat. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is just make sure that there is not a killer slide or two that I wanted to make sure and share with you before we sign off for the day. Let's see here. This is the Clara tool. That is a tool that can do many functions for you. Look for that in the AI Intelligence Hub within the portal. Talked about deal structure. This is the Robert Cialdini original Influence Persuasion book. For sure, read that book. And after studying influence persuasion for well over 1,000 hours, after my MBA was done, I studied psychology of influence through the Harvard ALM division and wrote my master's thesis on it. What I concluded was that authority and reciprocation combined is super powerful, but the most powerful thing you can do is learn how to influence yourself. If you can influence your own action, your own focus, and with AI and social media and Instagram and TikTok and X, people are more distracted every single year. The more you can influence your own actions and energy, the more influential you'll be over others. And I look at this one pager every morning And I have my monthly, annual, quarterly goals at the top, and then my 30 mental models down below. And I look that over every morning and I upload it to my AI, to Claude Cowork, and I have it grade me. And it looks at my calendar, my Slack, and my Gmail, and it says, yeah, you were horribly distracted yesterday and you did not do anything from your goals and you did not operate on your mental models, except for these few little cases. So I give you this grade. Or it says you did an amazing job. Here's what you did. Here's what you should have done. Here's some blind spots. Here's some ways to improve and be more effective tomorrow. Here's how you should have acted if you want to really act on your mental models that you say you want to. So that really helps keep me honest as a CEO. We talked earlier about how people aren't doing things unique enough from others. And so you want to look at how do you only go forward with pocket kings or aces and ignore everything else, right? There could be things that you know would make you money for sure, but you've already committed yourself to playing your pocket kings hand. So you're not going to chase the pocket jacks. You're not going to chase like something on the river if you're a poker player, right? You're going to like really extremely focus on what's the most value per day or hour. We had a whole presentation on this at the speed networking event. I'm just going to talk about it for 10 seconds here. A lot of people think about buying companies. They look at a multiple in EBITDA, multiple at cash flow, and that's how they value the company. Family offices and centimillionaires, they consider normal valuations, like they take it into consideration. But what they're really doing is designing their own unique game that they can win at, where they're keeping score in their own unique way. They're doing things strategically that values assets differently than other people. And to some people, they might buy things that others think are overpriced, right? When Disney bought Marvel, people said it was ridiculous and they massively overpaid. And now every 3 months, there's been a new Marvel movie coming out, and they've made billions and billions off that transaction and profit, right? So figure out your own unique game of Monopoly to play. Like Peter Thiel says, he'll settle for an oligopoly, but he prefers a monopoly. And if you're competing head to head against a bunch of people, as a CEO, you've really screwed up somewhere along the way. You should not be doing that. So play a super unique game and make sure you're focused. I go through like a physics textbook with my kids each morning at breakfast. And one formula came up here is that it doesn't matter how strong or weak you are. If you take 10 pounds of pressure and you reduce the area, the amount of force over the amount of area equals the amount of pressure that actually gets applied, right? So if you're doing 20 projects, reduce it down to 4, and you'll be 5 times as much pressure because that force is being applied to a smaller area. So it's not just about working hard and being David Goggins minded. It's about working smarter and having extreme focus and overdoing it in the most valuable area possible. That's how you win. So these are the 3 options for being part of our investor club. Daphne will post the link if you also wanted to check out the virtual option. That's the $1 trial that rolls into $75 a month, but that does not include any of the live events or anything you see under VIP or verified either. So charter membership is only $14.50 for 6 months, and you get half of those 30 events a year. You get the member portal, you get all the AI tools, except for the investor data-driven AI tools that come with VIP. VIP comes with 1 guest ticket per year on top of your ability to come to all of our live events. Like with charter membership, VIP and verified, you get to come to all of our live in-person events. There's no extra charge at all to come to the events. But you can't bring a guest. You have to get a second membership if you want to bring a guest. Unless you're VIP, you get 1 guest ticket per year in addition to yourself being able to attend, or in addition to the 1 person from your team attending. VIP comes with 22,000 verified investors and Excel spreadsheets. Got about 20 different Excel spreadsheet databases. They're also loaded up in an AI tool called Investor Pipeline. And that allows you to search through the tool to identify investors local to you or that might be interested in your deal from those data sets. And then we have verified membership. That's where we do a background check on you. We give you $15,000 of exposure at our events. For $10,000, it's an annual membership. Same with VIP at $5,000. It's an annual membership. You also get to have your 1-minute pitch videos scripted by me with my marketing team. And we edit your video, add in pictures, add in music if you want to, make it look awesome, help you script those 3 or 4 sentences, and get it all recorded and make it look great. As well as all the VIP benefits. You get 3 guest tickets per year for that and a blue check mark next to your name in the portal and at the live events. So if you're a founder with a serious business and you're doing $1 million a year in revenue, you're raising a couple $1 million a year in capital, you're well capitalized because of your past career or investors trusting you in the past, or you're managing, 20, 30, 50 million in assets or more, you really should just become a verified member. Like, the value there is so tilted and massive that like it's really a no-brainer to do that. And with all of our memberships here, for these 3 memberships you see in front of you, we guarantee you're gonna love the event. So if you're like, oh, well, I don't know, like maybe Richard just talks quick on this webinar and I show up in person and it's really boring and the speakers are lame and I don't learn anything at the AI workshops, I'm already using AI heavily. Like if you come and you don't love the event, like you just get refunded. And we're happy, like as long as you come to one investor summit and one workshop in your first couple months of membership. And if you're like, yeah, nah, that was boring, that was lame, that was mediocre, then we'll just refund you. So it's like we've taken away the risk. Like we'll eat the risk on it because it's not risky to us to offer that to you. So we hope that means that you don't feel like it's too risky, since we're literally removing the risk then and saying that you're going to love it. So hope we try it out. These are where our events are hosted. We are doing one Palo Alto, Silicon Valley event this year. It's our investor summit in September. But the rest of our events are in Los Angeles, Dallas, Fort Lauderdale, and New York. And May 28th, 29th is our next event in New York. Look like this on stage. And here is my phone number that works for WhatsApp or text message if you need to reach out. And here is my email. It's richard@familyoffices.com. And if you want to see our event schedule, it's on the homepage of our website at familyoffices.com. And the membership options are on the website. If you go to the live events tab at the top, you can go down to the Single Family Office Summit and you can check out details on that event. And I will check real quick if there are a couple questions after showing you the event website page for the event coming up. We'll see if there's any questions real quick, and we'll try to wrap this up in the next like 2 minutes. All right, let's see here. So you can see here, this is the Single Family Office Summit that we're hosting. Randy is speaking. He's a CEO of $1 billion single family office. He used to work at RSM. Isabel speaking. She's head of $1 billion family office that owns their own town. I think they have their own zip code. Trevor's one has built 100 million in revenue over just 4 years. We're having Paul speak on stage. He's a good friend I've known for 15 plus years. He manages $12 billion in assets, and he's in his 40s. We have many other private investors listed here, pro athlete investors, heads of multiple other investor clubs, and super high power founders, et cetera. So won't belabor that any further, but hope you're able to make it to that event. Can you post a link to the virtual? Yep, we did below. Let me check the Q&A box here. Let's see here. No more Q&A questions there. Hub sites. All right, looks like we're pretty much good to go. So I hope everyone enjoyed the webinar. I hope everyone got some value from this, whether you're a startup or anywhere you are in the world, or whether you run an investment fund, or whether you're an investor and you're invested in companies and they need to be capitalized. We try to make these dynamic and helpful and valuable to everybody. We switched up how we're doing that a little bit in terms of what software we're using for this webinar. So if you liked it better or worse, definitely let us know. And it was great seeing a couple hundred of you at our investor speed networking events just about 2 weeks ago now. And we're looking forward to seeing a bunch of you at our Single Family Office Summit. Right now, it's over 50% investors attending, and less than 50% are founders or fund managers pitching something. And out of the 75 speakers on stage, I think it's 52 or 53 are investors, allocators, family offices, and fireside chat, keynotes. And then we have sponsors that speak on stage. So if you want an exhibit table at the event, if you want a 5-minute speaking spot, if you want a discussion panel, or if you want to get systematic exposure across all of our events over the year, or have questions about membership, just reach out to our team at clients@familyoffices.com, or reach out to me personally with any questions you have at richard@familyoffices.com. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time being here and appreciate your attention. I hope you enjoyed the webinar.